The Mystery of the Green Children of Woolpit. One of the most captivating and enduring mysteries from medieval England is the tale of the Green Children of Woolpit. This bizarre and fascinating story, set during the reign of King Stephen in the 12th century, has intrigued historians, folklorists, and mystery enthusiasts for centuries. The story revolves around two children, a boy and a girl, who were found in the village of Woolpit in Suffolk, England. These children weren't like ordinary children. They had green skin, spoke an unknown language, and refused to eat anything except beans. Over time, the story of the Green Children has become part of English folklore, but it leaves many questions unanswered. Who were these children? Where did they come from? And most importantly, how did they end up in Woolpit? The mystery begins in the village of Woolpit, named after the wolf pits, deep traps dug to catch wolves that plagued the area in medieval times. One day, the villagers discovered two children near the edge of one of these pits. Both were dressed in strange clothes made from an unfamiliar material, and their skin was an unusual green color. They spoke in a language that no one could understand and appeared to be frightened and disoriented. The children were taken to the home of a local landowner, Sir Richard de Calne, who tried to make sense of their appearance and help them adjust to life in the village. At first, the Green Children refused to eat any of the food offered to them, rejecting bread, meat, and other staples of the medieval diet. This only added to the villagers' suspicions that these children were not of this world. For days, the children ate nothing, and it seemed they might starve. However, they eventually discovered green beans in Sir Richard's garden and eagerly devoured them. For a time, they would eat nothing but beans, but over the weeks and months that followed, they slowly adapted to a more normal diet, and their green skin began to fade. While the girl thrived and eventually learned to speak English, the boy did not fare as well. He became ill shortly after arriving in Woolpit and eventually died, leaving the girl to tell their story. When she finally learned enough of the language to communicate with the villagers, she revealed that they had come from a place called St. Martin's Land, a mysterious underground world where everyone was green and the sun never shone. According to her, this land was perpetually bathed in a soft, dim light, like twilight, and was separated from the surface world by a large river. The girl explained that she and her brother had been tending their family's flock of sheep when they heard a loud noise, like the sound of church bells. The noise frightened them, and while trying to find their way home, they wandered into a cave. After walking through the cave for what seemed like hours, they emerged into the bright sunlight of the surface world and were found by the villagers near Woolpit. However, the girl could not explain exactly how they had ended up there or why their skin had been green. Over time, the girl adapted to life in Woolpit, and as her green color faded completely, she became just like the other villagers. She was baptized, learned English fluently, and eventually married a man from a nearby village. Some sources even claim that she took on the name Agnes, though the historical record is unclear on this point. Despite her relatively normal life after her strange arrival, the mystery of her origin remained unsolved. Was she truly from an underground world, or was there a more logical explanation for her story? The tale of the Green Children has been passed down through generations and written about by several chroniclers of the time. The two earliest and most well-known accounts come from Ralph of Coggeshall, a 13th century abbot, and William of Newburgh, a 12th century historian. Both men wrote about the incident years after it occurred, basing their accounts on the oral testimony of the villagers and possibly Sir Richard de Calne himself. Though their versions of the story differ slightly, they both agree on the core details: the children's green skin, their strange language, and their claim of coming from a mysterious land. Over the centuries, the story of the Green Children of Woolpit has captured the imagination of many. Some have taken it as proof of the existence of parallel worlds or otherworldly beings, while others have attempted to explain it through more earthly means. Several theories have emerged to account for the children's strange appearance and behavior, ranging from scientific explanations to folklore and superstition. One of the most popular scientific theories is that the children suffered from chlorosis, a condition caused by severe dietary deficiencies, particularly a lack of iron. Chlorosis, also known as green sickness, can cause the skin to take on a pale greenish hue. This theory is supported by the fact that the children's skin color faded as their diet improved, suggesting that they may have been malnourished. However, this explanation does not account for their strange language or their claim of coming from an underground world, which remains one of the most puzzling aspects of the story. Another theory suggests that the children were Flemish immigrants who had fled persecution. In the 12th century, many Flemish people were living in England as refugees from political upheaval in their homeland. Some historians have speculated that the Green Children may have been orphans from a Flemish family who had settled in a nearby village. Their strange clothing and language could have been Flemish, which would have been unfamiliar to the people of Woolpit at the time. The green tint of their skin might have been caused by malnutrition, as they could have been hiding in the forest for some time, surviving on a limited diet. The Flemish theory is further supported by the fact that during the period when the children were found, Flemish settlers were being persecuted in some parts of England, which might explain why the children were alone and frightened. However, this theory also has its limitations. The children's description of St. Martin's Land as a place of perpetual twilight and their journey through a cave does not fit neatly with the idea that they were simply Flemish refugees. Additionally, the question remains, how did two children end up wandering alone in the forest? And why were they so disoriented when they emerged into Woolpit? Some researchers have suggested that the story of the Green Children could be a distorted account of a historical event, filtered through the lens of medieval folklore. In medieval Europe, stories of fairies, elves, and other supernatural beings were common, and the Green Children could have been interpreted as fairy folk by the people of Woolpit. In many cultures, green was associated with nature spirits and otherworldly creatures, and the children's green skin might have contributed to the belief that they came from a magical realm. This folkloric interpretation is supported by the fact that Woolpit was located near several ancient burial mounds and earthworks, which were often associated with fairy lore. In some versions of the story, the children are said to have emerged from a cave or tunnel, a common motif in stories of people being transported to or from fairyland. In this context, the children's tale of coming from an underground world could be seen as a reflection of the popular belief that fairies lived in subterranean realms. While these theories provide intriguing explanations for the Green Children, they still leave many questions unanswered. Could the children have come from a remote, isolated community that was unknown to the people of Woolpit? Could they have been the last survivors of a hidden, forgotten culture? Or is it possible that their story contains elements of both fact and folklore, blending real events with the imaginative beliefs of medieval England? In the centuries since the story of the Green Children first emerged, it has inspired numerous adaptations and interpretations in literature, art, and popular culture. The story has been reimagined in works of fiction, where the children are often portrayed as otherworldly beings or visitors from another dimension. Some modern interpretations have suggested that the Green Children were extraterrestrial visitors, arriving on Earth by accident and struggling to adapt to their new surroundings. Despite the various explanations and theories that have been proposed, the mystery of the Green Children of Woolpit remains unsolved. Like many medieval mysteries, it is likely that we will never know the full truth behind the story. However, the tale continues to captivate audiences today, reminding us of the power of storytelling and the allure of the unknown. Whether the Green Children were real or a product of medieval imagination, their story offers a glimpse into the beliefs, fears, and curiosities of the time. It is a reminder that in a world where knowledge was limited and explanations for strange phenomena were often rooted in superstition, even the most unusual events could be woven into the fabric of local folklore. In conclusion, the story of the Green Children of Woolpit serves as a fascinating blend of history, folklore, and mystery. While we may never know the true origin of the Green Children, their story will continue to be told and retold for generations to come. It stands as a testament to the enduring human fascination with the unknown and the possibility that, even in our modern world, there are still mysteries that defy explanation. If you enjoyed this exploration into the mystery of the Green Children of Woolpit, be sure to subscribe for more deep dives into history's most perplexing, unsolved mysteries, strange legends, and forgotten tales.